r/NoSleep. Posted by you/CallMeStarr. Santa and Satan are the same person. He truly hates me. Last night, while contemplating the turd sandwich life has bestowed upon me, I decided to go for a stroll around the block to stretch my legs. Having recently lost my job, my spouse, and pretty much everything else, I needed time to reflect. It was freezing outside. The ground was frosted in frigid white snow, and the howling windstorm had recently knocked down several trees and hydrolines in the neighborhood, causing the timid town of Pickle Lake to remain mostly indoors. I didn't care. I needed to get outside. Away from the TV, away from the video games, and away from all the other distractions I've been slowly killing myself with over the years. As I approached the intersection of King and James, I spotted a homeless man. He looked haggard beyond belief, squatting in his own filth and squalor. Pitying the man, I reached into my pocket, found my wallet, and handed him my last 20. What came next caught me by complete surprise. "What? You think I need your money?" the homeless man asked, in a guttural voice. "I mean, look at you. Is it me, or are these homeless types getting ruder every year?" I remember thinking. He took my money however, and stuffed it into his hefty, red coat, which was lined with fake fur and huge black buttons. Then he wiped his runny nose, using his long, white beard. It was revolting, but who was I to judge? As I was turning away from the man, about to cross the street, he said something that chilled me to the bone. "You used to be a bedwetter, as a child. Remember that?" That stopped my dead in my tracks. I've never disclosed my childhood secret. Not to a single soul. The only people who knew were my parents, both deceased, and my sister, who lives a million miles south of here. "When you were 11, he proclaimed, sitting on the snow-crusted sidewalk, festering in his own filth, all you wanted for Christmas was a GT snow racer. Remember that? You wouldn't shut up about it. Your parents ended up giving you the damn thing a week early, so you and Danny Lightfoot could go tobogganing that weekend. They sure spoiled you rotten, didn't they?" He coughed up a loogie, then continued. "Whatever happened to that GT snow racer anyway?" Fear began seeping into my heart, sprinkling down to my toes. I hadn't thought of Danny Lightfoot in over 25 years, nor my prized GT snow racer. Who was this man anyway? Just some crazy kook messing around with me, trying to provoke me, and clearly enjoying himself while doing so. "You don't know what you're talking about," I said. A plume of steam puffed from my face as I spoke. The truth is, I do remember what happened to my beloved toboggan. Danny and I spent that weekend racing our sleds down Westwood Hill. Danny slammed into a tree, breaking his arm in the process, and his parents blamed me. My parents took away my GT snow racer, and I made a huge fuss about it. Things escalated. My parents got into a long-winded battle, resulting in them getting a divorce, something I've always blamed myself for. No? His eyes were cruel, hiding behind those gold-rimmed spectacles. I disagree. How's this, for example? Your wife just left you, and you lost your job. All in the same week. Now you've got nobody. No friends. No one to turn to. Nothing. But I'm not surprised. You always were a loser, Nicky boy, he laughed, then started coughing up disturbing amounts of phlegm, most of which ended up in that treacherous beard. "How do you know my name?" I was beginning to hate this man. "I know everything about you." He seemed quite proud of this fact. "I am Santa Claus, you know." I laughed out loud. I couldn't help myself. For a brief moment, I pitied the man. He must be afflicted with some serious mental illness, schizophrenia, perhaps. But that doesn't explain how he knows my name, or my childhood secrets, or the fact that I've recently lost everything. "Yes," he said, ostentatiously, "I am the one and only Santa Claus, but only during the week of Christmas. That's when hell goes on holiday." He wiped the fog from his glasses with his beard. "The rest of the time, I'm Satan. Santa is merely my decoy," he chuckled. "I've been coming to your stupid planet for what? 1700 years? Boy, how the time flies." I'd had enough of this lunatic. Scene 1, you've seen them all. My town is full of them. I tried to leave, but some blind force was holding me hostage, preventing me from leaving. "Please allow me to introduce myself," the homeless man said. "Most people call me Satan, but I prefer Lucifer. Satan is merely my job title, you know." He wiped his nose with that hideous beard, only this time, he blew into it. I gagged. The man smelled worse than a urinal. I tried to step away from him, but couldn't. My brain simply refused to tell my body to move. That's when I started panicking. I'm stuck. My feet wouldn't budge. I was exasperated. I looked around for help, and found none. Anyone brave enough to venture outside in this weather had somewhere more important to be. The homeless man sniggered, his belly jiggled like a bowl of jello. Going somewhere, Nicky boy? He was mocking me. You know, every year at this time, hell goes on holiday, and I'm forced to visit this lowly world of yours. That's why I invented Santa Claus, he boasted. To earn my extra points. Points? I asked, without meaning to. Yes, points, he said, as though talking to an infant. We all have points. I may be the ruler of hell, well, at least one of the hells, there are others, but I still adhere to the points system. We all do. We're governed by it. So, he paused to take a swig from the flask he was concealing in his bulky red coat. I need to maintain a certain number of points in order to continue being Satan. Inventing Santa Claus made this easy. Real easy. My plan worked like a charm. That is, until recently. Your world is not the same as it once was, you know. These days, nobody believes in Santa Claus. Not even the children. He stopped to reflect. There was sadness in his eyes, but I didn't trust it. Especially after what he said next. So here I am, stuck in your crummy little world, delivering presents to, what, 60 or so children this year. That's the total number of brats who still believe in Santa Claus. He paused to wipe a bogus tear from behind his glasses. Yes, I'm afraid my time is coming to an end. Soon, I'll be a resident of hell, not its ruler. I can only imagine how the inmates will treat me. This was nuts. I tried to walk away, but I couldn't, no matter how hard I tried. No wonder, my boots were frozen to the sidewalk. Please don't go, Nicky boy, he said, twitching his ruby red nose. I think I can put you to good use, after all. He looked me up and down, making me extremely aware of my full beard, and burgeoning belly. What do you mean? The winter cold was making my teeth chatter. He ignored me. Santa was once hailed a hero, you know. A saint, no less, by the very people who claimed Satan was evil. The irony was delicious. But nowadays, no one believes in Santa Claus, and I've got no way to earn my extra points. The more he spoke, the more convincing he was. That, plus I admit, he really did look like Santa. Believe me, he said, just above a whisper, there are those who wish to replace me. I'll be lucky to remain Satan for another year, at this point. Unless. He shot me a look that totally creeped me out. It was a look that could steal endless hours of quality sleep. Unless you can be of service to me. He grinned. By now I was hyperventilating and freezing at the same time. It was like my mind was a house of mirrors, and all the glass had shattered at once. How the hell can Satan and Santa be the same person? I blurted out, in between bouts of hysterics. He snorted. Honestly, I thought it was obvious. Of course Santa and Satan are the same person. It's not rocket science. I'm shocked you humans haven't figured this out by now. Y'all just that dumb. Even though I was literally scared stiff, and my life was in danger, I was compelled to ask the one question that had troubled me most as a child. Okay, Mr. Satan Claus, I thought I was being clever, little did I know. How did you deliver all those presents in one night? He let out a hearty holler, shaking the ground below me. For one terrible moment, I thought the earth was going to swallow me whole and I'd fall to my doom. Oh, how original, he said, still laughing. First of all, in case you've forgotten, I'm Satan, so I can do whatever I want. Watch this. He waved one fat finger toward a neighboring street, and a house caught fire. Holy shit, I said, watching as the entire house burst into flames. Within seconds, the sky was fully engulfed in thick, sooty smoke. The sound of sirens ensued. The homeless man, who was leaning against a street post, with his big black boots and baggy pants drowning in filthy yellow slush, continued teasing. Oh, don't worry about the Hendersons, he said, in between bursts of laughter. They've got insurance. When they come back from Disneyland, in a week, they'll simply move into a bigger house. I did them a favor. Why was he telling me all this? And why couldn't I move? Let me go, buddy, I said, shivering. BB before I call the cops. He chortled, his head bobbling under his fuzzy red hat. Okay, NoSleep, a fine name, by the way, I'll let you go, but you have to grant me one measly request. I shook my head. There was no way in hell I was going to do anything for this madman. Doesn't matter whether you agree or not. I am Satan after all. You will do as I command. He waved a stubby finger in a wisp, muttered some sort of a mantra, a sprinkling of silvery dust flew in soft circles around me. Suddenly, I could move my feet again. Although my legs were full with pins and needles and my hands were numb, my arms felt like dump trucks, and I was freezing my balls off. Clearly, it was time to get a move on. Something compelled me to ask him one final question, however, and I hated myself the moment I asked it. If you really are Santa, then shouldn't you be staying at the North Pole? He slammed his foot down and forced himself up, smothering me in a shower of spittle as he spoke. You think I could get away with living at the North Pole? In this day and age? Really? Good God, you're stupid. He snorted, shook his head disapprovingly, then ambled away, vanishing into the dismal, snowy night. It was now full dark, the temperature was plummeting, and the Hendersons' house was fully ablaze. I didn't care. I wiped the ice rink off my face, being careful not to break my beard, and scurried home. Once home, I made hot cocoa, curled up on the sofa with Mr. Crinkles, my cat, and got lost in front of the television. Soon, I drifted into a deep sleep that lasted the remainder of the night. When I arose this morning, I'd forgotten about the homeless person from the previous night, that is, until I moseyed into the washroom for my morning pee. Once I saw my reflection in the bathroom mirror, I shrieked. I must be dreaming. I pinched myself, again and again, as hard as I could. Inside the mirror, staring back at me, was a portly man with a flowing, white beard, cherry red nose, and spectacles. It wasn't me. I don't even need glasses. None of this made sense. I hobbled into the shower and inspected every inch of my newfound body. It wasn't fun. Nor was it easy. Okay, so I'm ready to admit it now, I look like Santa Claus. I know this must be a mistake. These things don't happen in real life. I mean, Santa Claus. He's not even real. I've just discovered something. Santa has superpowers, or, dare I say Santa powers? I know things. Fascinating things. Terrible things. Evil things. For example, I know who's on the naughty list this year. And let me tell you folks, it's a big list. Looks like you all been extra naughty in 2021. Every single one of you. Yes indeed. Expect little Spencer and Jolene Davis, living in Dover, Delaware. You two are little angels. Now, about the rest of you.